When it comes to the Helium network, things are ever changing. In the last couple weeks alone, we've seen some changes to the variables, which have definitely lowered rewards in the process. And we're also seeing 84,653 new miners come online in the last 30 days. Now that means that currently there are 545,418 Helium hotspot miners online all over the world, and they are all sharing in the proof of coverage rewards, which brings the question, with 15% of the miners online now being new just in the past 30 days, is it really worth getting into helium mining? Now, for those of you who are expecting to get a helium hotspot very shortly, well, maybe you got a good deal on it. Hopefully you've only paid somewhere between $400 to $600, and hopefully you are upgrading to be as optimized as possible to make the most rewards. But for the rest of you who are considering doing it right now, you may be looking at other places to buy a helium miner, in which case it could cost somewhere between $1,000 to $1,200 plus another $100 for a good antenna. So with that, let's say, cost basis of $1,200 just to get into helium mining, is it worth it? Well, I want to look at some of the basic numbers that you're just going to find by going to explorer.helium.com. And if you go there, let's just look currently at how much helium is worth. So right now it shows that helium is worth $26.86. Now that has gone up and down quite a bit in the last 2 months. I would say in November, around, say, November 11th, we were looking at somewhere around $50 or over $50 for one HNT. And now, like I said, it's $26.86. When looking on explorer.helium.com, by the way, I recommend the best way to do research is by going to the lower right-hand corner and clicking on earnings. That's probably the best way to see where helium is doing better in terms of dropping a hotspot. You can see how some people are doing better than others and then research where those are. But what we're going to do is compare, for example, between places that are right downtown versus places that are somewhere in the middle versus more optimized locations. And what I mean by that is I'm just going to jump in. I live in Denver, Colorado, so I'm going to be looking in Denver. And when you do zoom into the map, you're going to see in a hex how many hotspots are actually located in that hex. And so in this sample, I'm going to click on something that's a little in the middle. I see, for example, there's 24 here. 24 looks to be the highest. So I'm going to go to an area with 12. And I'm going to actually choose the one with the highest amount of HNT it's making. There we go. This one looks good. And currently, as you can see today, it is only making 0.06. And it shows right there $1.62. And if I were to just use that number, now I don't intend to just use that number, but if I was going to say I'm making on average $1.62 living downtown with my helium hotspot and multiply that by 365 for the amount of days in a year, $591.30. So if you live downtown and have this miner, is that worth it? $591.30 for an entire year of having that online when you've paid somewhere around $1,200 for it? Well, that's just a straight number right there. I want to look at an average for a second. So we're going to go to a 7-day, look at a 7-day right here. And when we look at a 7-day, the first thing I'm going to look at is the average network earnings. Now, if I look around here, you can see that it does fluctuate, but what I am seeing more than any other is the average network earnings is 0.115. So let's think about that for a second. 0.115. If we know that helium is currently worth $26.86, and we are looking at this on 0.115, that is about $3 and I'm going to just say 9 cents, even though this says 0.0889, but $3.09 a day. So that one location downtown, that was pretty bad, right? They are not doing very well at all. And that's one of the reasons why I say if you are going to get involved in helium, downtown is probably not the best place to do it. But that being said, $3.09. Let's multiply that by 365. And now we're looking at $1,127. So if we can assume that your Helium hotspot can make the average of the network, and that is $1,127 a year, then if you're paying $1,200, maybe it's worth it. You'll almost get back all your money the first year. And when it comes to mining HNT, or rather cryptocurrency in general, I mean, people say that's not bad. I don't say that because I want to maximize my profits. And generally for me, that means being in as high a location as possible, being able to put that antenna as high a location as possible with the least amount of obstructions, and using, well, generally speaking, as I like to tell people, a rack wireless 8 dBi omnidirectional antenna. That's the one I always recommend, at least the one I recommend to start out with in order to determine the best way to optimize your setup. But let's jump to another location here. I'm going to jump to something that has better odds. And like I said, when you look on explorer.helium.com, if you look at where the blues are making above average. And so I'm going to go to a blue area, like in Fort Collins up here. Let's go to above average area. Let's see, this one looks good. And this guy is making 0.434 in a day. But if I look at a 7-day average, and rewards have been down, but I think a 7-day average shows the average since the rewards have gone down. And we're looking at a 0.291. I'm going to pick out one of these numbers here, which I think is average, which is about 0.45. So I would agree, 0.45, 0.34, yeah, somewhere around there. That is probably the best situation you could be in. And if we look at that, and I am just going to pull it from the number that's in front of me here for the earnings. So for 0.434, $11.61. If you get the best situation, and keep in mind, this person has a sense cap. It says 7 dBi antenna, 9 meters up. So high up, good antenna, definitely a good Helium hotspot miner. And we're doing 1161. We can say 1161 times 365. And we're looking at $4,237.65 a month. Sorry. A year. A year. Yeah, that's not bad. When you look at it like that, and you say you could go pay $1,200 for a miner off the gray market, and in a year make $4,237.65, that sounds great. Keep in mind, however, whenever I say stuff like this, that is not the number you will probably get. You're probably dealing with diminishing returns. And by that, I mean more miners are going to come online, more problems are going to happen. And in fact, I'm going to assume, like with this number, $4,237.65, that you have a Helium hotspot that is off at least 10% of the time. It is offline. It's not working. It just goes offline. It happens. And considering diminishing rewards, let's just take 20% off the top of that. And so we're going to multiply that by 80%. And so more likely you're going to receive by the end of the year something like $3,390. So let's just say $3,400. Still, that's not bad. And if you can get an optimized situation like that, I recommend, yes, sure, Helium's worth doing. But if you are in a situation somewhere in the middle, and I'm going to just look at something in Broomfield as an average, let's pick somewhere green. I'm going to pick this one right here. And let's do the one that seems to be doing well here, this guy here. He is making on average, and again, as you can even see, if you look at the scale here, things got bad in the last week or so. So that's why I'm basing everything off the last 7 days, not the last 30 days multiplied by 12, but the last 7 days, and taking the best out of that. So if you look here, for example, this person is getting 0.2. And I would say on a general level, if you are trying to have your hotspot be in a better situation, meaning as high up as possible, as unobstructed as possible, and using a good antenna, which to me is like a 8 dBi, 9 dBi, sure 7. Some people love 5.8, but I don't believe in them. But if you want, let's just say a 5.8, you could be getting somewhere between, again, that 0.45, which is the high end in my opinion, and a 0.2, which I would say is the lower end. I would say the numbers that we looked at before, the ones with the network average, are unoptimized numbers, but they could go way lower, as you saw with the one downtown. And so when we look here at the earnings of this one here, 0.2, I would say 0.2 would be at the low optimized end, and 0.45 would be at the high optimized end these days. So again, let's look at the number right now. That's $5.41. Multiply that by 365. And we are looking at $1,974.65. That is, again, not bad. You got your money back within a year. Oh, but we got to take that 20% off the top, right? Because we're dealing with diminishing returns, and we don't know how diminished they are, and we don't know how often you're going to be offline. So let's do a 0.8, and that is $1,579.72. So again, you will make your money back in some change over a year. But quite honestly, is that what you want to do? Do you just want to make your money back? Because now you have the device, but it is diminishing returns. So we can assume every year or every month, we're probably getting a little less and less HNT. And that's the problem with this, right? We're hoping if you're running a business, you're going to assume that you are going to be making the worst the first couple of years, and then be making the most as the years progress, right? Because you have current good clientele, et cetera, et cetera. But in this situation, I don't know. In this situation right now, unless we start seeing more data rewards and the data rewards make it worth it, then it's not really worth getting into H&T. Because please consider, if you will, that by August of 2023, we have rewards cut in half. That's when the next halving occurs. That's only like a year and a half away. And when that next halving occurs, we're taking that $15.79 and assuming that year we could even make as much. We're dividing that in half, and we're only going to be getting $789.86 in proof of coverage rewards. All right, well, those are just some numbers I wanted to give you, just something to think about. It's just looking every day like it's not worth being in helium mining, and hopefully more companies will get onboarded to use the Helium network. We'll start seeing data rewards, and once we do, if those data rewards prove valuable, maybe it'll be worth staying on. But until we see them, who knows? So until then, guys, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like information like this, and happy mining.